The suicide jar. The single reservoir, single pot, single front and rear circuit master brake cylinder installed in these vintage vehicles like this 1958 DJ-3A. You get one blown out brake line, you get one of the 4 wheel cylinders that leak or gets blown out while you're out there on the trails, out there on the streets. Fluid drains out of this single reservoir. You're done. Kiss it goodbye, Eddie. This old gal's getting upgraded to this dual master cylinder by Vintage Jeeper. Rear circuit, front circuit, and the kicker, dual remote reservoirs mounted inside the engine bay on the firewall. Easy access for fluid checks and changes. No more reaching under the clutch and brake pedal, opening up the plate and sticking your hand in the hole to check and fill fluids. Huge safety upgrade, huge performance upgrade, a lifesaver in these Colorado mountains. Let's see just what it takes to put one of these on. Well, the provided instructions seem pretty clear. There's 9 steps, and yep, we're gonna follow the instructions because we've got 2 other Jeeps we gotta install these on. Step 1, disconnect the brake lines and remove the single master cylinder. All right, the single master is back here. We all know you have to reach through the tub to get to the opening on there, but it's hidden back here behind the Ross box. We're going to disconnect those lines. Step 2, flip the 3 Ross steering boxes. 1, nuts, bolts and nuts here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to flip those and send them the opposite way so that the length is hanging out the front side. Okay, the head's on the back, the length's here outside the frame. It's going to give us a little room for this thing to fit in there. Okay, it's going to go back in there. So, and it's a bit longer than the original. 3, loosen the brake rod and plunger so it can be extended 1/4 to 1/2 inch. 5, adjust the brake rod so that it's touching the inside of the master cylinder. Step 6, connect the front brake lines to the banjo fittings. So this comes with all the fittings you need on it. It's already got all the fittings. Connect the front brake line to the banjo fitting of the new master cylinder closest to the brake rod. So this is your front res. This is the rear res. Isn't that counterintuitive? Step 7, install the wires to the new brake light switch using female spade connectors. So here's our brake light switches. Step 8, mount the reservoir cups to the firewall. So these are going to get mounted somewhere in this area here. Nice easy access. Step 9, fill and bleed the brakes. Note, if using drum brakes, ensure they are adjusted according to factory service manual. The master cylinder uses 3/8 by 24, 3/16 inch brake line connectors. If using the clutch support bracket, simply grind the bracket so it clears the front mounting hole. So there is going to be a place on here where we might have to do a grind to clear that front connector. All right, and we know who to contact, shall we need. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to clean a little bit of these bolts out. We're going to adjust. We're going to swap around these 3 nuts or bolts. Reverse the direction. I had to go to the store and get me some. And then we're going to disconnect the brake lines to this single reservoir and get it removed. I'm going to drop the heat plate off this thing too, so I can get access to all this. So I'll probably drop the heat plate, get under there, clean it up a little bit. Let's go. Let's get busy. Pre-lubed all these bolts for weeks because it's that Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah rust, right? It's just kind of that patina. It's not the salt belt rust, it's just that patina rust. We found some new information about this Jeep. I went back in my records, looked back at the old title. I still have a copy of the title that I got. Went back 2 names. So I bought this in 2023. The person that owned it before me, I found, and I actually contacted a family member of the Bramwells. They're ranchers in southern Colorado. Chromo, as a matter of fact. Hence the name of this girl, Chromo. Reached out to him. He contacted me back. Said, yeah, the gentleman on your title, that's my great. I can tell you, Sean, how that Jeep was used. So the Bramwell family, bought this Jeep in 1979 in May also. 44 years ago. To the same day that I bought it. So we have some history. This was a ranch hand in Chromo, Colorado, on a great big family ranch in the Chromo area. Before that, the Bramwells bought it from a family out of La Plata, New Mexico. That's over by the Four Corners, deserty, High Plains desert area. I don't know if he was the original owner. So the mystery is, who converted this? Who did the precision conversion to put a 3A, CJ-3A drivetrain under this DJ? When and why? We're getting closer to getting the answer to that. When and why did they convert it? We know the Bramwells ran it on a ranch in the mountains of southern Colorado. You know they would have needed it. It came with gun racks in it. So they probably hauled hunters around too. It's a hunting ranch down there as well. So now the family that owned it in La Plata, New Mexico, is that gent the guy who did this conversion? Way back in its original days? That's the mystery. That's what we're trying to figure out. Would like to find that family out of La Plata. They were the Hicks family. Hicks family was the original owners. Well, the owners before the Bramwells, who owned it for 44 years. So that's where we're at, guys. We're getting some history on this girl. It's kind of cool. I like that. That's the big part of these. Finding some history, understanding who ran these, what their purpose was, why did they stop running them, what happened. But anyway, let's get back to getting this off. Brake lines. 706. Ooh, this is where you gotta be careful. Woo, luckily we got it. Now we're gonna be putting all new brake line in here, so it wouldn't have mattered too much if I had broke it. Look how dry rotted. Look at these. It's been taped. It's been taped. Come on, almost got her. Okay. There's some fluid in there. I must have filled this up at some point. Oh. There's always one, isn't there? It's gonna be the booger. I gotta get this heat shield off. But that nut in there is really... It's hidden behind all these lines. Oh, I just about got that in my mouth. Ugh. Where's the... Okay, there we go. Now I got to it. Give me my half. Well, that's the raw steering right there. So, let's get in there. Be nice to get this out of the way. The instructions don't say to remove the heat shield and get around all the muck that may be on there. Does it? No, sure doesn't. It sure doesn't. Okay. Got it. Heat shield. Caked. Dirty. Let's get in here. See what we got. I'm guessing that's pretty original. Let's remove this. And this master cylinder is going to come falling down on me. All right. Let's remove the wires. Oh, did you see all the rust? Did you see? Can you see all the rust just dropping out of there? Oh boy. Oh, and by the way, this, when I got it, the cover plate on it, it had one of those rubber, you know those rubber freeze plugs that you can put in your vehicle? The rubber ones, and you put the bolt in and they expand? Yeah, it had one of those. Yep, it sure did. All right, I need to remove these wires. I think I'm just gonna cut them. Snip. Snip. All right, we can stop the bleeding. There's the original, guys. Now let's clean some of this muck off here. See, that heat plate protects that master cylinder because we got the exhaust that comes right around through here. The exhaust. I have the exhaust pipe off because I just got a new one. The other one was pretty rusted up. So while I had that exhaust pipe off, I have additional room here. Otherwise, I'd be working around that exhaust pipe as well. So it may be beneficial. Oh, there's the old boot. Nice and dry rotted up. May be beneficial to take your exhaust pipe off as well to really get some access into here. Wouldn't hurt. Especially since these Ross boxes leak. You can get in, you can clean them up a little bit. Well, you can see what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be cleaning on this for a while. Okay, so I'll be back with the underside of this cleaned up, my workspace cleaned up. Let's get this bracket off. I think this is what we're gonna have to grind a little piece off of anyway. It's all rusted up. There went the cotter pin. Okay. I'm going to change out these greasers. We got to get this guy off there. Okay, another cotter pin. Definitely want to clean this up. The plunger. Gotta get the plunger clean so we can adjust these screws easily. It's already difficult to get down here with your hands, let alone try to get one let alone get it while it's rusted and you can't spin the thing. Okay. Here we go. We'll clean up this plunger also. We might let this stuff just sit overnight and soak. Get on it. Let's slide the bolts in opposite way onto this Ross box. instructions said to turn those bolts around. Let's go ahead and replace this one. Well, that one goes in there. Just nice. Why am I fighting this front one? There we go. There we go. All right, let's get this rear brake line here. Get this connected up. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this old, this is the old exhaust hanger. I've got a new one. Let's get that out of here. Let's hope I got my tetanus updated. All right, there we go. I've got replacement kind of universal hangers to put on there. Won't need that thing anymore. This is your brake clip. So that's out of the way temporarily. These are flare fittings. Okay. Now I have this brake line clip. There we go. I have my original brake line running from the back now. Or my new brake line running from the back now, but I didn't want to put that in till I got it installed. I did clamp on the spades, wire spades, so I can plug in. All right, let's see. Insert the plunger. Mount this up. This bolt here is a little tight right next to this, the bell housing here. So it might be a little bit tricky. No, just put it in before you mount. Now that's awful close to the bell housing. This dual rear. So we got about a 1/2 inch here clearance. I'll show you that here in a second. These dual master cylinders, they're a big safety upgrade from the single reservoir, right? You guys already know the single reservoir is all your circuits, your front and your rear circuits are on one reservoir. If you spring a leak somewhere, you lose all 4 tires breaking. But on a dual reservoir, your front and your rear circuits are independent. Right, that was a significant upgrade in the automotive industry. I should probably do my homework and go figure out when in history that occurred. That'd be kind of That might be a little nice history search. All right. So I wanted to show you the clearance that I get on the bell housing here. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, there's about a ½ inch of space there, but we'll hope this doesn't move around enough to be hitting on that. But that's the design. Okay. I think the next thing is to adjust my push rod so it just touches the plunger, or the plunger just touches the internals there. Let me get that going. Let's get the washer and the cotter pin back on the plunger that I took off earlier to clean it up a little bit. Wait, I meant to drop that. Cotter pin's on, plunger is in place. Now I'll make an adjustment to where it's just, plunger's just touching the internals there. Okay, my trivia question. When was the dual master brake cylinder introduced over the single? I have it. I'm not going to try to say I'm going to be able to remember this, but here's the timeline. The dual or the tandem master brake cylinder, designed to provide separate hydraulic circuits for front and rear brakes, was first introduced to the public in 1948 by the Jaguar. Jaguar? Some people say a Jaguar, some people say Jaguar. Jaguar? Jaguar. I call it Jaguar. I call it the Jaguar. It never caught on to the Jaguar. Anyway, by Jaguar Motor Company in their XK120 Roadster. And here's the timeline of its adoption and when it became part of the federal government mandate. 1948, Jaguar. Got it, see? 1960, Wagner Electric developed a widely adopted dual-cylinder system, improving upon early designs. 1962, Cadillac and Rambler, American Motors, began providing an ensured safety dual-cylinder system on their cars. 1963, Studebaker implemented a dual master cylinder as standard equipment. And it wasn't until 1967 the federal government mandated dual master cylinders on all automobiles in the United States. So some work came around a little earlier. This is a 58. It wasn't mandated, so Kaiser Willys wasn't going to do it. They didn't have to. But we got it now. It's official. Hope you enjoyed that little history. Just touching. Just touching. I think I'm just touching right there. We've got to put this in place, bend this up, connect it up to the rear here. Rear output, front, rear. So 90 in there. The rest we can get with our hands. All right, what we're going to do, fellas and fellerettes, we're going to be plugging this front line because my front needs some work. I've got some things, I've got to do the whole brakes and whatnot on the fronts. So we're just going to plug the front, fill up the reservoirs on both, plug this front one, and just test the rear brakes this go around. That's the game plan. You can run these off. Do not drive with just the rear brakes. 70% of your stopping power is the front brakes. So this is not a driving recommendation. It's just to test it in the shop, that I have pressure on my rear brakes, that they're set, and everything's good on the rear side first, then we'll work our way up to the front. Okay, next is mounting the reservoir hoses. I just did the one for the front. There's the one for the rear, and don't forget the rear is on the front. Hose clamps. Okay, the remote reservoirs, front, rear. Reservoirs to the firewall. I went ahead and got a spacer because this is offset. So I've got a spacer, plus it gets the lid away from this rain channel and this lip. So it's gonna go here with my screws here. So it's gonna be something like so. Okay, front, rear. I'm gonna label those up. Mounted. What else does a guy need to do? Remember, we're gonna plug that front because I'm not doing the front brakes today. We're just gonna isolate this to the rear brakes, but we're gonna fill them both up. Obviously, you don't wanna run that master cylinder, either circuit, dry, because we got a pump in there. We got probably O-rings, I'm guessing some kind of O-rings and whatnot. So we got some seals in there. We don't want to run them dry. So I think let's go ahead and fill these up. I'm going to open up those rear bleeders and let's let a little gravity do its thing for a little bit here. We mounted the reservoir cups. We used some spacers. Fill and bleed the brakes. If using drum brakes, ensure they are adjusted according to the factory service manual. We are using drum brakes. I've got those rear drum brakes set to where they don't actually move. So they're expanded out to the drums through those eccentric bolts. Because when I bleed this, I want to eliminate any of that airspace. The space between the pad and the drum initially to get this bled. Then we'll back that off and get those set to factory settings. All right, and then we still need to put our bracket on there and cut that area out as we go. So my bracket is here. We'll need to put on the heat plate to protect that cylinder from the exhaust pipe and that clutch plate. So we still will have to put these two things on. Making progress. Progress. Done with the drill. I'm going to be running brake fluid .4 in this. This is all new stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just run that in here. I've got it. It's on the shelf. I've got it. I'm not going to go buy another bottle just for this application. I think that'll be fine. Let me put the plug in the front. Get that plugged up. All right. Think we're good to fill them up. Holy cow, this is, you know how long we've been working? You know how long we've been working to get to brakes on this thing? Just to get to the brakes is kind of like one step at a time of fixing things, just so we can get to this point. All right, we're gonna fill them both up. Woohoo! And I just dropped the rubber gasket out of here. Where'd you go, little fella? There it is. All right, a little rubber diaphragm in there. All right, use those spacers, guys, so you can get your lids off. Offsets it from the firewall. So use some spacers on there. Compatibility, all ABS, disc, and drum systems requiring .4 fluid and .3. And I know these are .3 fluids, so we're good. We are good. Remember I said we were going to open up those rears? I haven't opened up those rears yet. Whoa. And it looks like that's what I need to do. Oh, that is a slow drain in there. That's just, that's like an IV drip. You gotta be kidding me. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Definitely we need to open it up and get that to fill. All right. Let me open my rears. All right, let me know if that started dripping. Let's see if we got an IV drip. Looky there. Okay, that's slowly going now. Both the front and the rear. I opened those up. Let's let gravity do its job for a little bit. The clutch plate to master cylinder bolts. All right, we are on. Let's see what we got here. A mess of tools. Certainly got that. Okay. Now I'm just waiting for the kiddos to come home because they're going to help me bleed. Pin in, bend, snip, get off my neck before it drops down my shirt. Bend those up a little bit. All right, guys, I'm gonna go see if the kiddos came home. Sometimes they sneak home on me. Let's get that done. We'll go topside, get one of the kiddos out here. We'll bleed the brakes, bleed those backs. Go see what we got. Getting close, getting so close. Okay, let's get this bled. We're gonna do 5 pumps. Hold, I'm gonna open it. You're gonna close it. We're gonna close it, okay? We're gonna do that a couple times. Okay, give me 5 pumps. Call it out so I can hear you, please.
3, 4, 5, and I'm holding.
Okay. Yep, there it goes. Okay. Yep. 5 more.
1, 2, 3.
And you don't see any bubbles coming out of the tube?
5.
Okay.
I'm holding.
Okay. Okay. Up. All right.
It's good.
All right, we'll do the other side. Call it good. Okay, I need to get my exhaust pipe back on here. I took the old rusted one with some rusted bolts off, and it certainly helped me do the brake job to have that out of the way. So let's just mount this thing up. Let's go there. All right, so there we have it. What do you say, guys? You say we fire this thing up? Let's fire this thing up. First time in a long weeks. Choke off. That fired right up. That fired right up. Still needs a little choke. That fired right up, guys. I'll be darned. We got brakes, guys. Yeah! I can't move them. Son of a gun, we got rear brakes. There we go, guys. Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay, I'm going to shut this show down for today. Thank you for watching Hacking Patina. Thank you for bearing with me. I know I've been promising some breaks on this for a couple episodes now. We're making progress. We got rear brakes, so that we've got this new double master, or this dual reservoir master cylinder from Vintage Jeeper. Hopefully next week we'll have something knocked out, at least disassembled up here. Keep watching, keep your nose grinding, chin up. Talk to you later. Yeah, let's go scoot! But it's gonna stop me. Son of a gun. It's dark. We got some hills, and we got about 30% brake with just the rears. But let's go do this. Woo, she's popping around a little bit on me. You know, let's go this way, because it's less of a hill. We got the exhaust coming right in here. Woo, I gotta stick my head out the window because it's strong. First, we're not in four-wheel drive. I can't breathe inside this thing. That's not good. That is not good. Woo! Let's drop it back down to first. All right, we're coming to our stop sign. It's actually a yield. All right, let's go. First, I gotta get out of this thing. Woo! Those fumes are horrible. Back to first to go down the hill. I can't breathe.